talk to me about?
I just wanted to touch base, sort of thing, really, about because obviously your better half, shall we say?
Yeah, Karen has a wheelchair.
Yeah,
When she's
she's
really, really tired, and so I push her in the wheelchair. And currently as well, we hear a lot of horror stories of supermarkets who are making people who are disabled queue like everybody else. And it's terrible. And so some supermarkets are getting the feedback from
yeah.
people telling them that they need to be more receptive to people. It's not, even I saw someone on a scooter, like queuing up like everybody else. They need to think people aren't. It was cold as well, so people
The battery will go flat as well.
Sorry, say again.
The scooter's battery, that will go flat while they're in the queue. They'll end up stuck, stranded.
Yeah.
So it's a bit.
So
yeah.
like it's tricky. I mean, like, and you've got a good upper body strength. You push yourself in a wheelchair, so you must be always looking for the right sort of curbs, paths to go up and down, get through, door widths. It's all important for you. If you've not got the right width, and I know that like when I plan a shop fit, which is what I do as a professional career, like a door opening of a metre, that if you've not got disabled door access, or even a door that's a metre, how are you going to open it if you're in a wheelchair and it's got handles and you can't reach them? It must be really, really awkward.
Well, my flat, this where we live now, we've got a specialised built flat that's been built for wheelchair access. So with ours, we've got extra wide doors, we've got handles that are lower, we've got kitchen worktops that come down to a lower surface, giant wet room. Yeah. So everything here is purposely built. But before I was here, I was in a house where it was like it was a two up one down basically. It was a 400-year-old miner's cottage, quarryman's cottage, sorry, and it was horrendous because I could only access one room because the bedrooms were upstairs and the kitchen was down steps. So you had to come out of the living room and go down steps into the kitchen. Then you go through the kitchen, down more steps into the bathroom. So I was only able to access my living room, and even that coming from the outside, there was a step that was about this big as well. So it wasn't easy to access at all. This place has been a godsend. So I don't know. I've seen people try and cope in houses and experienced it myself with just non-accessible, and it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare, and especially where I was living as well. It was at the top of a hill.
Who's also in a wheelchair, called Dean Charnley,
okay,
who is a lawyer, and he is in a wheelchair all the time. I've known him 10 years, and he lives in a flat that's up in a lift, and to just see how someone who, if I was to sit in a chair all the time and have to not be able to get out of it, people take that liberty for granted. And they should give more thought for people who are in wheelchairs all the time.
Well, I've been in the wheelchair now about a year, and what I've found as well is the way people just they don't accept you as a person in a wheelchair. They kind of avoid eye contact. They don't talk to you. I mean, there's before now, me and Michelle, we were in a cafe, and I went up to the counter and said, "Can I have a cup of coffee, please?" And she said, "Yeah, not a problem." She went off, she made the coffee, she came back, Michelle stood next to me and she said, "Does he take sugar?" Which is the age-old actual thing people always mention, but it does happen. They said, "Does he take sugar?" And Michelle was like, "I don't know, ask him." Because I'm sat there and they wouldn't even approach me to ask me that question because people don't know how to talk to people in wheelchairs. I just wanted to know what sort of problems have you guys faced in the past, sort of thing, obstacles sort of thing, getting and having to find a way to adapt, because I'm wanting to try and make some videos that would be helpful to people so they can hear testimonies from other people, and before they come across that problem they know how to tackle that problem.
I generally just think on the fly anyway, and if something is a problem, because with other illnesses that make her so she's not well, so I have to push her in the chair. And I find really probably going to the supermarket with those sort of clip-on trolleys that you get that you clip onto the front of the wheelchair, and as you're pushing it round, and people they don't see you as a person; they see you as an obstacle.
Yeah.
And some people will almost be like go super placid and move out of the way and go, oh, like a real pity kind of look on the face.
Yeah.
It's just another person who's shopping.
Yeah.
They just need to, just smile and say, there you go. We benefited it. We support Man United, or Karen does, big supporter of Man United, and like United.
Yes, mate.
we found them brilliant.
Well, I have spoken to United about doing a museum tour, and they said they'd get back to me, and then the whole lockdowns sort of like happened. But they were very helpful.
The tour, because I think that goes up and down stairs. It's not like something they take you behind the scenes of, they take you in the dressing rooms, and there might just be other routes you can take that are alternate routes to what they normally take, like, go down some stairs and then you're in this bit, and you might because it's over many levels. But as a supporter, we went to see a football match whereabouts it was in the disabled end of the match, the pitch, and there's like a cafe for the disabled people that's through a door. We just asked someone where there was a toilet Karen could use, and it was down this corridor, and it was great. They look after you really, really well.
Wow.
There was lots and lots of special needs people who could come into the football, so that was great. They are a great ambassador for how to treat people visiting.
Oh, so it seems like I'm supporting the right team then, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't do it. I don't do stuff as often as you, so I don't find these obstacles and then think of. I forget most things anyway. I've not got a brilliant memory these days, so I've not got a lot of things I could probably offer you as regard that. But definitely going shopping and going to and getting negativity from people aimed at Karen when they don't understand even what. Or also, we've got a blue badge.
Yeah.
And you'll see so many people who will park in a blue badge bay.
Oh, yes. Don't get me started on that.
Because they've got a fast car or a flash car, or they're a bit of a young wide boy, they think it's their space as well. But if you use a blue badge and it's not yours, it's £1,000 fine.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use if you park in a space and you don't have a blue badge, it's also a very severe parking fine. So people need to do that. Supermarkets, I think, are better these days at monitoring it, but you still see the people just parking there. And
we've had
do you have a mobility car? Do you have a mobility car?
I am lucky enough to have a mobility car. Yes.
Have a mobility
I've got a very, very nice one.
Yeah.
So I mean, we took it to our local Tesco's. Now, our local Tesco's car park isn't run by Tesco's. It's run by a different company. And we had people, we couldn't get a parking bay in the disabled bays because people just parked in them. So we sat for a couple of minutes just to watch people coming in and out of the store, waiting for them to move the car so we could get a parking bay. And there was people with no blue badges, about 5, 6, 7 of them easily, just coming out. Yeah. Because the car park is not monitored properly, so people take that as an advantage. I mean, we've got 3 disabled parking bays outside our house, and when we first moved here, because the building was brand new, some of the neighbours in the local area of the houses that were here originally, on the other side of the road, decided that they would park in disabled parking bays because they felt justified because it was on their street, but it was private. But it's private parking. So disabled parking, I find, is quite a big. It's quite a big problem because it's not monitored properly. That's what I find. And
I almost wanted to have a fake blue badge made, right? That on it said, "You are not disabled. This is not a real blue badge, and you shouldn't be parked in this space. Think more carefully next time you park, because someone who can't park anywhere else needs it." When you see a car that's parked and it's not got, almost like naming and shaming, take a picture of the number plate, put it on Facebook, create a page for people to put put pictures of people's number plates, but then that could incite more problems.
Yeah, Facebook would probably, because Facebook can be a quite funny place and a bit of a dodgy territory for that. It can class that as bullying and take that down.
Yeah.
So, and also you can get warned, and then you can get a week's ban on Facebook for it.
How do you combat that? How do you combat
The only way to combat it is just to get the knowledge out there to people not to do this. But people these days are a bit ignorant of wanting to have this newfound knowledge, basically, because there's a big push at the moment for disability awareness, and not a lot of people are accepting of this. I mean, going back to the shopping thing, me and Michelle went round an Asda in Telford, and I was in my chair. I was quite new to the wheelchair. I was only just adapting from being 10 years on stage to suddenly being in a wheelchair, not being able to really fend for myself at one point, because I was so depressed about it all. I was in a right state, but I went to visit family, went round Asda Telford, and some man shouted, "Get the out of my way, you couple," at me because I was in a wheelchair and he wanted to get past me. I was actually very distraught over that, to be honest. It was like, that's probably the hardest situation I faced, was somebody thinking it was acceptable to shout and swear at me because I was different being in a wheelchair. So it's just like...
What, when you talk about you being on stage, what was your past? What did you do?
I was a holiday park entertainer.
Right.
I was a magician and an event host. And also I did tech as well. I was like a trainee second technician. So that was the sort of stuff I did. I mean, I worked for companies like, the beginning of my career, Butlins, didn't like it. Haven, Pontins. I've been an entertainment manager up and down the country. I've worked from the top of Scotland to the bottom of England, all the way over to the other side of Wales. So I've pretty much covered the entire of the UK doing that.
What changed in your life that put you in a wheelchair?
Well, I was diagnosed with an illness. It took 11 years to actually get a diagnosis of the illness. It's called Derkham's disease, which causes masses of lipomas and tumours to grow just under the skin. So I've got about, I think on the last count, I've got about 97 tumours in my arms and legs and my chest. And they are quite horrible to look at. I mean, I don't know if you can really see them on the camera there, but they're like that there, and they move around. As you can see, they're all over this arm as well, as you can see there. These are all the... I'm going to turn my arm, you can see how out of shape it is. So I can have really bad arm days as well, so Michelle has to push me around in the chair. But it got to the point, it's just too painful to walk. And it also causes me to have blackouts. It's given me an anxiety disorder. It's given me joint hypermobility syndrome, which you've probably heard of. So it's not a safe thing at all. But now I take 2 steps and I'm out of breath and sweat's pouring off me from the amount of pain that I'm in. And if my body takes too much pain, I just black out.
So at home, we've got like many quicker stuff. You know, we've got like frames around the toilet. Extra handrails and grab rails and steps to get in and out of the bath. But, you know, I mean, like, I have to lift Karen out of the bath, get her out of the bath and all that, and you're a big guy. So how do you manage when... I mean, you've got a wet room, so it's better for you, until you don't have to have a bath.
Well, yeah, I just wheel in and transfer from the wheelchair to a shower seat.
Yeah.
You've got handles by
and there is handles as well.
So Karen has a bath, but like I have to sort of get her in and out, and we've got a knack, you know, what we do. But yeah, you know, people don't see that side of me.
No.
Because on Facebook I post try to propagate the other stuff that I do. But that, you know, that's the reality of life, isn't it?
Well, it's like you're saying, with people don't see that side of you, because obviously you're quite well known with what you do. And when I say to my friends, "Oh, I'm talking to my mate Stu Arnold," and they're like, "I know that name," I'm like, "Yeah, he's the Britain's Got Talent finalist. You've probably seen him do the semi-finalist, wasn't it? How was it? Finalist, semi-finalist.
Semi-final 2011. They told him to do it, but they never told anybody. We on the big foot all these years. I mean, you know, sounds like I don't know what you are. where they said,
Yeah, I actually,
Marnie.
I saw that. I actually watched the video this morning. Again, I showed it to Michelle of the semi-final where you were singing.
Plan B.
Plan B. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been really lovely to talk to you. Is there anything else that you need to ask me?
No, not really, mate. I think we've pretty much covered everything. It's been. I've enjoyed hearing about your journey and everything with Karen, and it's just nice to be able to talk to somebody who understands what we go through. Because I mean, there's so many people. I mean, our Wheelie Access videos. We've been up Snowdon on a train. We've been round Chester Zoo. We've interviewed members of their staff. We've been to Port Merion. Mm-hmm. We've been there where they filmed The Prisoner. That was amazing. When we talk to people and we ask them questions about what they have in
Just smile a minute, because I'm taking a capture.
So we have conversations with their staff about what training they have for working with people with disabilities, what sort of stuff they offer for people with disabilities, how accessible it is, but they don't know what it's like to be in that person's shoes, so to speak. They don't know what it's actually like to experience that sort of thing. So it's nice to actually get to talk to somebody who's on the same level as me and Michelle, because obviously Michelle's my carer, you're Karen's carer, so you guys know exactly what needs to be done and how things need to be to help people in our positions. And it's just great.
Benefits, finally, the final thing let's discuss before we go is, how has the lockdown affected you in a positive way and in a negative way?
Right. In a positive way, it's made me realise there's more ways to connect with people than face to face. There is ways with modern technology. There is ways to connect with my family who live miles away, so I don't have to worry about getting in the car and going to see my family, getting in the car, going to see my friends, them coming to see me. We can always talk over Skype. Now, I've never used Skype as much as I have until this lockdown, because we play D&D every Tuesday, and we play it now over Skype.
Wicked.
Which has been nice. I've connected with people all over the world. Through all of this. I mean, I've started doing 24-hour gaming streams to help raise money for a friend's company, the WAW. I've been trying to help raise funds to make sure that they can keep their doors open after this lockdown has finished. And they've been fantastically supportive over it. But through that, I've managed to go do a 24-hour live stream on Twitch and speak to people that I've never spoken to before and get to know them. It's been fantastic. I mean, we spoke to one guy who was pretty much in the Scottish borders, and he's now a follower of Wheelie Access. We've created awareness for what we do. He's shared it. He's shown other people. And then we've got friends in Canada who have done the same, friends down south that have done the same. It's been amazing that way. But negatively, it's probably been an absolute minefield for overthinking things.
Yeah.
Because at night time, you've been sat in your house all day. Nighttime, you're still sat in your house. There's been no break from the norm. And you just sit there thinking, what am I going to do with my life? My life's going downhill. I'm in a wheelchair. What am I going to do with myself? Can I take the rest of my life being in a wheelchair? It's quite a common thought for me, personally, is how I've gone from being fully abled. I've got my entire family's fully abled, and I'm the one in the wheelchair, and you kind of sit there and start to feel sorry for yourself because you're locked down, you've got nothing else to do except your thoughts run wild. So it has been there has been a few dark times, but luckily for me, I've got Michelle, who has helped me so much during all of this, which has been great. And then obviously yourself, when I've been watching your streams, have been fantastic. I've been watching your stuff on Facebook. And I even put a post up the other day about how much it's been helpful to me and other people. I think I've now been coming to watch.
But what I was saying about positives and negatives, well, I mean, you can feel whether your job's going to continue, because I've got a job and I'm on furlough, and you just hope that when this is all over, whether or not the company's going to be big enough to sustain the amount of employees it had when it was in full swing and it was in a normal environment, whether or not the industry that are working in shop fitting and design is still going to be big enough to support everyone, not just whether I was to lose my job, but if people lose jobs, anyone else, in any industry just lose jobs. Like the hospitality industry has really been badly hurt. So that's a big negative. And I've decorated loads more, and I've done all the jobs around the house that I put off for 7 years. So,
you know, escaping them now.
7 years ago, and I've just started to finish it off little bits like need to do it. So you know, but the main thing is we have connected with people that we don't normally connect with. People are being nice and talking to one another and being friendly, and that's great.
Yeah. Well, one thing I have found that's been great keeping me going, Michelle's just reminded me because she's still angry at me for this, but it's quite funny. I found doing an early morning prank. If I wake up before Michelle, I'll set up a little prank, which the best one so far is, I don't know if you remember these.
Yeah.
Underneath the toilet seat, sellotaped. So when she sat down, they all went bang.
No way.
Yes, it was well worth doing, recording and sticking on Facebook. So,
but the negative was I got a slap around the head and a Kinder Egg to the face for it. So it was worth it though. But yeah, it was a good little prank. I mean, obviously, I was an entertainer for years, as you know yourself. An entertainer needs to be entertained. We have to find enjoyment in things, and I thought that was a funny thing to do one morning. And Michelle thought something was up when she woke up to a cup of tea, because that never happens.
You know what? This is what it looks like when you shake hands with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is it you're strong enough to rip his arm off though, as you got it there?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I've shook his hand about 5 times now, I think.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Hopefully I'll get another chance to do that one day. Next time I'll look in his face when I say that all these years I've been your impersonator. I love making people smile because it brings joy. Hello, cutie pie. Nice to see you. Say hello to the little man. Hello.
Yeah, this is Daisy.
Nice. I love it. I love a nice cat.
But thank you for your time, mate. It's been amazing to catch up with you.
Mate, anytime. I'll inbox you my number. Give me a ring anytime.
Yeah, appreciate that, dude. And it's been good. And what we'll
see you later, mate. Have a lovely day.
All right, mate. Look after yourself. We'll speak soon.
Cheers, mate.
Bye, mate.
To the cops and the day got arrested. A minister never protested. She feels rejected. Had a heart broken by someone she obsessed with. She likes the sound of the music, which makes her a fan of music. When love goes down to the losing because you can separate the man from the music. Saying all this in the stand and because crankies in the galleries. It's all gonna make it. Never gonna play them Samuel's who's in the gallery. Well, it looks like the jury are buying it. It's making me nervous. My hands are pressed like I'm trying it, and the eyes are fixing me like a murderess. They're gonna lock me up. They're gonna throw away the key. They're gonna send me down. Even though I told them she. Boop boop.